and welcome back to my channel, TorAthena, where today I am reviewing another comic. This one is self-published slash very independent, and I have the absolute pleasure of reviewing another of James McCulloch's comic books. This is a single issue this time, and it's called Little Girl Black. And before I review this, I just want to say that I'm almost quite wary of reviewing this because it's not an easy read. And therefore, I worry that if anyone ever reads this, they'll think, wow, you are sick in the head if you like this comic. But let me review the comic. I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay, so once again, this is written by James McCulloch. He also did City of Lost Souls, which I reviewed earlier on this week. The link will be below to that video if you want to check that out. And it's drawn by Pedro Mendez. This comic, from what I can gather from the first issue, is about a man who appears to collect women. He seems to kidnap them of all ethnicities and varying ages, and it's to collect a family. He has them call him daddy, and he'll read them bedtime stories, and they will live in like this basement, and that in itself is kind of you feel icky thinking the story's about this. And then it gets worse. It gets so worse that I think it's the only comic I've ever felt uncomfortable reading. I'm not going to go into it, but I do warn you, if you buy this comic, I cannot stress to you how much of a warning this comes with, to the point where it even has a warning on the first page saying this just isn't suitable for everyone and it may be too much for you. It's horrible. But it also has this ray of sunshine in the story, which is this woman who he obviously thinks he's going to kidnap or goes to a kidnap. We don't really know what's going on in the story yet, and I don't want to spoil too much for you, but I have a feeling it's the girl on the cover, and I also have a feeling she's a bit badass. I kind of feel like she's going to be a bit like Sigourney Weaver in Alien. She's going to be this female hero, this kick-ass, hard, strong lady that's going to just be the savior for everyone. I could be so very wrong. I could just be holding on to that for dear life because the rest of the story just breaks my soul into tiny little pieces. And I also say all this making you think that maybe this is a bad comic. It's actually not. It's an incredible comic. I have to stress to you how bad the comic is before you read it, but it's not a bad comic. It's written so well. City of Lost Souls was a really good graphic novel. It was a really good comic. It was a really good story, but that's all it was. It was good and it's worth reading and you should check it out. This moved me. This moved me in a way that most comics don't. It was in a bad way, but it was still in a way. And they kind of say, like, you know, art, if it can move you, then it's art. And this is kind of the same with this comic book. It brought out these emotions that literature don't do very often for me. Movies don't do very often. And if you can do that in paper form when films struggle to, there's something going on in this book that's just good. There's a skill set in these pages that ooze out and grabbed me and shook me, and it made me unsettled, but in a brilliant way. I'm only going to show you the first page because after that everything will start to get spoilt for you in a horrible way. But it's a black and white comic. It's beautiful, the lines, it's gritty, it's dark, it's detailed. It's not as clean as Janine Van Mussel, who did City of Lost Souls. It's a little bit rougher around the edges than that, but I actually think that works better for this. I think it needs to be a little fuzzy around the edges. I think the amount of detail that she puts into her books, if he did the same in this with the content he has to draw, I think it would destroy everyone. There's something about this book I had to carry on reading. I don't know what it was. I think I needed something to happen. I think I need to see karma happen to the main guy. I need to see where it can go. I don't know if it's a car crash that I can't stop watching in a beautiful art form, but there's something about this comic that I have to carry on reading. And I really don't want you to think that what I'm saying is, oh, it's a bad comic and I've just got to see where it goes. It's a really good comic, but it's hard to read. Does that make sense? In fact, it's such a good comic that I had to see when the next issue is out, and it's in September 2016 apparently. And then I checked, and he's also doing a Kickstarter for a graphic novel, so I imagine it's the full story within this book. I I was so compelled and so invested in this comic that I actually pledged the top tier, which was £40, to get the graphic novel and an original art piece of this, because I want it to happen that much that I had to invest as much as possible to make sure that that actually happened. So it can't be a bad book. I wouldn't spend 40 quid on a bad single issue. That's how invested I am into this book. Why? I don't know yet. Am I disturbed that I am? A little bit. But I also think everyone else, as long as you have the strength to check it out too. Once again, all the links will be below, including his Kickstarter if you want to check that out. But the first issue is only priced at £3, and I'm sure it's on the website as well. And like I said, all the links will be below. Have you ever come across this comic yet? Have you read it yet? I can't say anything because it will spoil the comic. Go read it. Go tweet me it or something. If you read it, tweet me or message me on Facebook or something, because I don't want people to comment below and it to be like spoilt or something for everyone else who wants to go read it. But maybe one day I'll have this as a book club video, because I need, there's just so much going on. But yeah, read it. I am getting more and more professional with every passing day with these. Well, that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching what I think was a comic review. Either way, yeah, one day I'll get good at this, I promise. I've only been doing this for 2 years now. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye.